Okay, so today's topic is regarding the new version of 2025 1.6.0. Okay, this is just released, I think, about weeks ago. Okay, so what we have in the updates for this version, I'll explain accordingly. Okay, so I'll go through all over regarding the e-invoice highlights lah. Okay, what you need to pay attention on the e-invoice module. Okay, so basically the first thing, the important thing is the customer validation controller. Okay, which is our add-in a new function on this version is we are able to search the PIN number through our customer maintenance. Okay, from the new versions onwards. Okay, and then about the stock classification that previously we already break down for sales and purchase. Purchase, which is mean the self bill lah, stock classification. Then you are able to, I mean, you need to update your stock items. Okay, according to each item, you need to identify each of them the classification for the sales and the self bill. Okay. Last time, from beginning, is you only have one field for stock classification. Now they are break down into sales and self bill. Okay, so you have to fill in separately. But I'll show you how to do multiple update lah. Okay, and then sales transaction. This one very basic lah, which is every time I'm demo to you through our sandbox. Okay, and then we have the new one is the self-bill expenses, which is we can use the payment voucher to issue a self-bill already lah. Last time we only have self-bill purchase, okay, which means every time, even though we issue the expenses or payment to subcon or payment to renter, all we need to go through purchase invoice or cash purchase. Okay, but now from this version onwards, you can make your payment, okay, using payment voucher, and then we submit through payment voucher for the self bill. Okay, and then we'll go through a little bit for the point of sale and then the consolidated sales lah. Okay, so before we move on, I will explain that most frequently asked questions that are collected from user lah for a little bit. Okay, so for the setting, okay, so connection to LSTN, I think most of you already done the setting lah. Okay, but I'm not going to explain today on how to do the setting, but if your database are yet to do the connection, you can reach to our support, okay, or you may call to our office, okay, for request or help for doing the setting, okay. But also we'll enclose the steps here lah if you want to try by your own, okay. The tutorial is like before, okay. And then the next one is okay, since there's a news, I mean the effective date, okay, come out on the phase 4, phase 5, okay, which is on 1st January and July, okay, next year. This is for the next year. If your e-invoice is the effective date is on next year. So currently, maybe previously you already set is in July 2025. Okay, you may change it to the date accordingly. So how to change? You go to the e-invoice, okay, e-invoice setting. Then you amend the effective date according to this or this. Okay, depends on your turnover lah. After that, you click on save. Okay. And then the last FAQ is okay. According, a lot of people ask me the e-invoice. The invoice created, how long do I need to submit? Okay, this question every time people asking me. Okay, this is the information I get from the LSTN. Okay, so on the page 11 for the PDF slide from LSTN E Invoice Guideline. So they didn't mention okay the timing of the submission for the E invoice. They only mention for the consolidated E invoice and the self bill, and the import goods, and these all are considered self bill, okay, and consolidated E invoice. This invoice only you need to submit within 7 days on next the month end, the next calendar month. Okay. For the physical e-invoice, there doesn't have a guideline that says you how long you need to submit. But the practice, we always recommend customers to submit within the month. Okay. Don't don't left too long, later on you forget to do the submission. Okay. The best time is before you do the console. Okay. Make sure all the e-invoice you created are all submitted, are all in valid already. Then you do the console. Okay. It's a good way to recommend you guys to do that. Okay. So you may study the guideline here. Okay, this one I think a lot of pages here. So this is the guideline. I think most of you got this already. This is a very long times ago information, but they just update. This is a new implement that. Okay, there's a lot of info you need to go study Okay, I'm not sure this right now. We just go further, and then if you don't understand this one, I already made a translate already in Mandarin. Okay, so you may study this later. Okay, now we start. Okay, we start for the first topic is the customers validation control. Okay, so remember the setting here. Okay, let's say we use this screen. The setting here, invoice setting, if you already tick enable transaction validation control or customer validation control or stock item validation control, which means you are under control by enter the invoice requirement field. Okay, so this is the customer required field. Okay, so the PIN type basically are classified for customer is in this 6 category. Company Malaysia, company foreign, individual Malaysia, individual foreign, general public, and government. Okay, this is very common right now. Okay, so as long as your customer don't need an e-invoice, you will immediately classify them as a general public. Okay, no matter what, as long as they didn't give you a full detail. Okay, immediate they are classified under general public. Okay, which means that we cannot produce e-invoice for them. Okay, the rest that are according their own category. Okay, so this is the compulsory field to key in. So this one you can refer later. Basically, it's a company If you're building to company, then name is important. Okay, then individual will be the full name of personal, and then their IC or register number, then TIN number. Okay, so this one also need a TIN number. In this version, we can start use the TIN number search. Okay, to search the team number. Okay. Last time we cannot search, then we have to use this. Now we can search the team number. So I treat it as a yes already. Okay. And then address, at least 2 lines of the address you need to fill in. Okay. And also you need to fill the full address. And then the rest of the field is a city, zip code, state, and country. Okay. This one also need to fill in. And phone number also need to fill in. Okay. Phone number format are in the format like this. Okay. Let's say it's 012 followed by the handphone. Okay. This is the sample of the phone number format. Okay. The registration number. Okay. No symbol. No symbol and no dash and no spacing. Okay. All are joined together. Okay. Then email, only put one email in a time and don't put 2 email with a separator or something. Okay. So the email field only consists of one email, and then that's it. Okay. Phone number also one phone number only. Don't put another number in one field. Okay. So here also have the guideline on how to key customers required field. So when you click here, it brings you to our QnE support. So here we have the guideline on how to key your customers. Okay. Okay, this one you can study later. Okay, now is the new feature for customer and supplier search team. Okay. So this one I will show you maybe through my demo. Okay. So before I show you, I will explain a little. Okay. So assume that your company, you have entered the company registration number. Then you come to the e-invoice e-invoice portion. Then you can see the team type here. You select the company Malaysia. Then you can start click on the search button. Okay. In new version, you have this microscope or what this one. Okay. You click this to search the team number. Okay. So it will prompt the screen like this, search team. So here we will written down the taxpayer name, which is the company name. Because I'm using the team type is company Malaysia. Here the ID type will become BRN, business register number. Okay. Then here will be the company number. Okay. So you click on search. Then it will return you the result. This is the team number found. Okay. We would like to take the new thing in the e-invoice. If you click OK, then it will write into the field here. Okay, so you don't need to key in as well. Okay, as long as you can search the PIN number. Okay. All right. Now I'm show one time on how to search customer PIN. Okay. So okay. So right here we go to customers. Okay. So basically, let's say I'll take one example. Okay, example, assume that I don't have a team number here. Okay, let's say. Okay, assume that I don't have the TIN number here, so but I have the company register number. Okay, so I can use the search TIN. Okay, you click on the search TIN, then it will show you the search TIN detail with the company number. Then you click on search. So it will return you the TIN number result. If you click OK, so it will update to the customer TIN. Okay, then you click save. Okay, so this is the search TIN function. Okay, so what if I want to search an individual? Individual also can search from the search TIN. Okay, let's say I clear this. I click save. Okay, now I'm search the TIN for this Aliza Muhammad No. Okay, so this is the IC. So the ID type will be NRIC because the TIN type I'm selected is individual Malaysia. Okay, so if you click search, then you appear the result. Then you click OK. It will update to the customers. Okay, then save. Okay, so any question you want to ask, or I try to see any question in the chat box? Why is my customer team box doesn't have this search icon? Okay, you need to upgrade to the latest version. So make sure your version is 160. Okay, for general public section, what email should we put in? General public doesn't require email. LKS electrical, this one you contact to our office. They will arrange for the upgrade for you. Okay, for company under local authority, the registrational cannot generate the T number. What should I do? This one I cannot answer you. Like, how to answer this? Registration number cannot generate. This one should be according to the trade license, right? Every company must have a registration number so that you can search for the PIN. Hospital is government. You mean GH, is it? That is Sliadani. Hospital usually is a government, unless it's the private like Timberland. That one is, I think, not belongs to government. If GH will be government. The partnership, what the partnership should choose which one? Partnership also consider company Malaysia. Clinic, private clinic. Private clinic is I think it's under company lah. Okay. All right. So we go further. So any question later on, I will reply again. I will look for further. Okay, so we continue first. Okay, the next one will be the classification. Okay, so according my previous explanation, okay, this one classification is according the SDN classification code, right? Until today, still maintain 45 categories. Okay, so no changes. Okay, just you need to pay attention is the which one is belongs to self bill. Okay, which one is belong to self bill, because in the new version, you need to key in separately for the stock classification. Okay, so let's say now we come to our stock item. Go to our stock item. Okay, you can see that the classification in the new version, they moved down the position already. Previously is under the class code here. Okay, now they move to bottom here under the detail. Okay, so the classification break down to sales and self view already. Last time only one field. Okay, now you have two fields here. So which means that if previously you are selected as others, then the self view will be 036, which is a self view others. Okay, okay, and then so how? Let's say if I have a lot of the items here in my list. Okay, so how do I update all together? Okay, so from here you can see the classification. Okay, if you use the column chooser, you can pull out the classification at under your search stock item. Okay, so you can use the column chooser and then you pull out the field for this classification sales and classification self view. Okay, so you found that maybe there's, if you are just newly upgrade, you found that maybe your classification only update the sales, but you didn't update for the self view. So there's a lot of item here. So how do I going to update each of them? Okay, if I ask you one by one to edit, sure you are not happy with that. Okay, okay, if you are going to update one by one, is the way how you do it. Then you click save. Okay, so if I want to update multiple, so how do I do? Assume that all the classification are the same code now. So you basically you just select lah. You can select multiple item, which is you press the control key and then you click on the item you are selected. Okay, and then you go to edit. Here you can see the assign classification cells. Okay, so click this one. Okay, then you can see the assign classification. So here you change it to numbers. Okay, then you click OK. So you update the highlighted. Okay, so if I want to update all, I just press Control plus A. It will highlight all. Okay, and then you can assign again. Okay, so if all the cells are updated. Okay, so now I update for the self view. So self view will be this one. Assign classification for self view. Okay, so here I will put, as you can see, under self view category, you have some items in, let's say you need to key in self view, you need to understand that which self view belongs to. Okay, if your items are imported, okay, maybe it's, you import from China or somewhere, the item you need to use self view. Okay, for the self view item, you need to select this category. Okay, so if not in the list, then we just use others lah. Then click OK. Right. So now all are updated to GL36. Okay. All right. Back to okay. Here also have the guideline lah on how to update multiple stock item classification code. Okay. This one you can refer the link here. Okay. So for those who are new to QnE, today I'll show you how to do submission for e-invoice. Okay. Maybe some of you already start. Okay. And then I just show to the who's a new newbie. Okay. So respect to our sales invoice. Okay. So today is 4th of July. Okay. So let's say issue an invoice to Everest. Okay. Let's say I just select the customers. Then you need to check their address. Okay. And then their e-invoice detail like register number, PIN number, and the font. Okay. Has to be correct. Okay. Then you key the item. Okay. For example, just key any item lah. Or okay. So I just key any item, then I can sell in different packing. Try some. Okay. So behind you have the classification lah, which I already assigned at my stock item. Okay. If you didn't assign, which means this one will be blank. Okay. Later on, if when you save or you want to submit, it will return you the error. Okay. Okay. Then I click save. Okay. Let's say I sell one item. I click save. Remember, before you click submit e-invoice, you need to save first. Okay. Because before you save, you cannot do the submit. Okay. You only can submit after you click the save button. Okay. So now I'm trying to submit this. Okay. So assume that my details are correct. I will click on submit. Okay. Let's say this invoice no issue lah. Okay. You may also print out before you submit, but your printout will be even it's a e-invoice format, it doesn't have the QR code. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So even though you are print out the invoice, you don't have the QR code here because it's still under pending status. Okay. So where to see this status? The status is under the e-invoice tab here. Okay. Okay, e-invoice tab here. Let's say the status is pending. Okay. Now I do submit. Okay. Submit, then you click confirm. Okay. So for this selection, either one you can use. Okay. Okay. If you submit this one, you cannot success, then you may try this one. Okay. So I just use item line lah. Okay. Then click confirm. So this is the summary. Just now the one showing is the summary. So I click confirm, then you start submitting. Okay. So the status return valid, which means is already success lah. Okay. Then you click OK. Then now you see the submit e-invoice turned to dim already, which means it's submitted. That you cannot do any amendment already lah. Okay. unless those are field which is still amendable, then this one still can amend. The rest like name you cannot amend already. Even though the item you also cannot amend already. Okay, but the posting GA account you still able to amend. Okay, I think no more. This also no more, cannot amend. Okay, so make sure your setting is correct. Okay. Okay. This is the way to submit e-invoice lah. Okay, after you submit e-invoice, you can print out the e-invoice format. Okay, so this is my sample. Okay, after I preview, so you are able to see the QR code here, which means this one is already a valid e-invoice. Okay, so frequently what user frequently will facing when they have failed to submit. Let's say I try another invoice. Let's say, okay, I found that users usually their phone number, the key very long. Good. Okay, when I key some item, okay, I click save. So assume that all the things I already key in, okay, but the font I key very long. Do I able to do the submit? Let's say we try that, huh? I also don't know. It's success or not. You just try to submit. Okay, I think this few day you got see this message sometime maybe since the 1st of July. Okay, maybe you got facing this error before. Okay, maximum length is 20 character for the buyer. Okay, but it doesn't mention which field. Usually we catch on each field manually lah. Like you see the address, or you can check the address, or you can check the PIN or something. Oh, I found that phone number is too long. Okay, so we shorten it. Okay, only one phone number keep, right? So don't keep many phone number in one field. So we set this. Okay, then we can do the submit again. Okay, now it's valid already. Okay, so this is valid. Okay. Okay, let's say I try another case. Another case will be, let's say any customer here, I didn't fill the the team number, or my team number are invalid, or my company number are invalid. Okay, so when I set immediate, it will appear the error. Why? Because I'm just set only, it already prompt this error, not when the time I do submit, because of the setting of the e-invoice. Okay, because I already enable transaction validation control. Okay, which means that before I submit, system already checked the field. If you didn't complete, you cannot set the invoice. Okay, if you want temporary can set, I think you need to disable this first lah. Okay, okay, disable this first, then you can do the set. Okay, can temporarily do the set, but when the time you do submit, then you know the problem you're facing. Okay. Now when submit, then they prompt the error. Okay. So the error comes when you do the submit, not the time you do the set. Okay. So from here you can start key the address lah. If you key the address, then you click on save. Now still acceptable, right? Even I simply type still acceptable, but when the time I do submit, it will trace your record. Okay. Minimum length to the buyer is at. Okay, this one maybe is which one I don't know. You need to check. Okay. Maybe it's a company number is wrong or something. Okay. But this one I don't have the detail. I just simply type one. Okay. So just for you to know that there's an error there. Then you're facing invalid and the status here. Okay. So basically, majority facing problem is your customer information. Okay. Make sure you check properly before you do submit. Okay. All right. Back to our. Sorry. My screen lost. Okay. Back to the question. Okay. I think my colleague already assist for the answer. Okay. Just go ahead. Okay. So how to cancel an e-invoice? So cancellation is you can do within 72 hours. Okay, this one is always remember lah. Sometimes always people ask is it after issue after issue the invoice is that within 72 hours I need to do the submit. Actually the 72 hours is referring to cancel the invoice or reject the invoice. Okay, after the submission. Okay, it's not the control for the time after you issue the invoice, the how long you need to do the submit. Okay, so here I'll show you how to do the cancel. Okay, so the cancel not the cancel the or maybe the cancel first I do the cancel first. So how to do cancellation? Okay, the cancellation is, let's say I'll search one of the invoice which is valid. The condition is the invoice must be valid. Okay, any invoice. Let's say this one is I issue, not this one is still pending. Oh, this one, okay. This one is over 72 hours already. So what if I cancel this invoice? So how to cancel invoice? You go to edit, my eyes cancel. So here the cancel of invoice, you need to key the reason. So wrong item deliver. Okay. So invalid. Something wrong with this e-invoice. So the UID is invalid one. I don't know. What is the problem is. Okay. Another thing I want to share is sometimes you submit your e-invoice. You see here is submitted. Okay. but it takes so long time, even 2 days later, 3 days later, it still remains submitted. Okay. So you can come here, the info here, you click the loading, maybe it will immediate change to valid. Okay. If still remains submitted, you can click the force update. The force update, then it will keep update until it become valid lah. I think 1 or 2 times you click force update, it will return to valid lah, basically. Okay. Okay, so this one I'll try. Let's say I set this. I do the cancel because this is over 72 hours already. Okay. Cannot because I think LSTM there cannot trace our this one. I think more than few months, 2 months already. Okay, you cannot do a cancel. You only can do is issue a credit note. Okay. So how to issue credit note? Let's say we go to sales credit note here. Okay. Sorry. Sales credit note here. So let's say I want to CN this invoice 2505003. Okay. So I will issue a CN to this Bali Cochin. Is it correct? This Bali Cochin. Okay. So I issue a CN. Okay. So what do we need to fill? Here you have a slightly different compare with your maybe your current version lah. Okay. So from the latest version, you can see that this here have a little changes. Okay. So you have reference number. Last time we are click the reference number to search the item. Now they are separate into two. Okay. Reference of sale invoice. Let's say I want to refer this invoice number. So I click here. Okay. You click here. So here you can click on inquiry. So it will list down all the invoice. Let's say I want to search for 20250003, which is this one. Okay, this one already have a UUID here. So if you click this one, you can multiple select invoice. Okay, but currently I CN for this 003. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay. So here I click OK. So here we'll have the reference, but the item I will refer to reference. So under the reference here, you will have another search screen come out. Okay. So from here, you can click inquiry again. So under this 2505003, I have two items inside. Okay. Let's say I want to return this. I click on this and click OK. Okay. Here you will appear the item. Okay. So you can do the knock off together. Let's say I want to knock off this. Okay, I will match this invoice. So make sure everything correct and click save. Remember to key the reason. Wrong item delivered. Okay, click save. Okay. So come to the e-invoice tab here. You will notice that you have the original unique identifier number here. Okay. Which is the invoice number with the UUID. Okay. So from here, you need to do the submit. Okay. Submit the CN. Confirm. Now it's submitted. And then it's come return to valid. Okay. So you have your CN print out. Okay, so this is your CN with QR code. Okay, this one is a system default CN. You have the reference number here. Okay. Okay, so this is how to issue credit note. Okay, so you may go through the guide here on how to do cancel and reject for the purchase. This is for the purchase lah, and then this is for your sales cancellation. Okay. So any question after the submit e-invoice? According to IRB, if a company has a trade license, especially Sabah and Sarawak, and does not have SSM register number, can I use B2C? You may try because we didn't try this before, okay? And cannot tell you can or cannot because we never tried this case. Maybe you need to provide us the sample, then we can try for you. How to submit e-invoice for discount? Discount usually we use CN. Okay, so okay, CN how to do? Basically, CN for previous before e-invoice practice, we use customers credit note. We can directly issue a discount, right? Let's say discount allowed to your customer. But customer credit note, there's a problem that they cannot do submit for e-invoice, which means that this customer credit note cannot use already. Okay. So what do we do is we need to create the discount as an item. Okay. So this one will according to your chart of account. Your chart of account, let's say your discount allowed is under here. Okay, you have a discount allowed code. Okay, so we need to create an item for discount. Before that, we need the account preset. Okay, so the account preset is creating the discount preset code. Okay, the discount preset code is for sales, also sales return. Sales return usually okay, which means is refer to the sales credit note. We will go for discount allowed. So you assign the GL account code here. Okay, then you set it. After that, you create a stock item. My stock item also called also named discount. This one I already created before. Okay. So this is a discount item. Okay, under a stock item. So the item doesn't have a stock control. That's why I didn't tick the stock control. Okay, so the stock code will be discount. Stock name will be discount. The preset code, remember to select the account preset, the correct one, discount. Okay, and then also has to define the classification. Okay, so after set this item, when you come to credit note, sales credit note, okay, we only can use sales credit note. So when you give a discount to your customers, so the reason we put discount. So you're referring to which invoice? Okay, let's say this invoice 2507-006. Okay, then the item you use, because I'm not do the stock return, so I didn't refer any item here lah. But for the stock code, I will use the discount item. Okay, so this one, the name you can change to promotion discount, I said. Then 100. Okay, so this one you can knock off to the invoice. So any invoice you do lah. Let's say it's 2507-006. So you refer to that correct invoice. So I refer to this, all this one only 43 cannot, I over less already. Okay, less than ringgit. Okay, so I discount for 10 ringgit. Okay, then I click save and remember to do submit invoice also. Okay, okay, valid. So now you can see the status here is valid already, and you may print out the credit note with QR. Okay, the credit note with QR will be promotion discount. You have the QR code here. Okay, okay. So if we not only discount for one invoice, we you need to select reference. Yeah, you can select multiple reference of the invoice. Okay. Why is the no option to submit customer invoice? According previous explanation is the customer invoice, they don't have the quantity, don't have the UOM, don't have the unit price, which is required by ASTN. That's why they changed to sales invoice. Okay. So above one, I think my colleague already answered. All right. Okay, we just continue on. I'm afraid that I'm not enough time to explain. Okay. Okay, now we go further. So this is a credit note and debit note. So you need to refer the reference. No? Okay, so if the invoice has the UID, basically it will show the original unique identifier number here. Okay. Okay, now is the self bill. Okay. So self bill last time only we can do at under purchase module which no matter it's cash purchase or purchase invoice. Okay. So never mind, I just show again. But even though we already have the function at the payment voucher, but still sometimes you still need to use purchase invoice. Like you purchase the stock item from your supplier, which is under self bill category. Okay. Example, I'll show you one example is you purchase import something from other country. Okay. That one is related to your trading. You have the stock item there. Okay. It's not an expenses. So this kind of transaction, you still need to use purchase invoice for the self bill. Okay. So here you have the reference now. Okay. Let's say, so the link here I'll give you is how to submit self bill invoice. Here you have the guideline. Okay. So provided that your supplier under self bill category, which is individual or foreign seller or agent or others. Like you need to study the self bill type here. Okay. For this sample is the individual. Okay. So this Chan Xiao Meng, okay, example, they are using individual. So they will have the IC here. Okay. So the PIN number here. Okay. Last time we don't have the search PIN. Now we have the search PIN. We provide the IC. Okay. You can search the PIN number from here. Okay. Then the MSIC code. still maintain 50 lah, which is not applicable. Okay, then you need to key the email and the phone number. Okay, so this one is still the old method now. This one you don't follow because the phone number format are changed. Okay, so after you key the supplier details, so you can create a purchase invoice lah. You can purchase any goods from the supplier, which is under the sales bill. Okay, you can key in your purchase invoice accordingly. Okay, make sure everything's the detail is filled in. Okay, then you click on the submit and confirm. Then you submit the self bill invoice. Okay, so the status come to last has to be valid also. Then you can print out the self bill e invoice. Okay, so this is for purchase. Okay, so I'll show you one time now. Maybe some of you are new to QnE. Okay, I just show one time for the self bill. So self bill, let's say our suppliers. Okay, I do import for this foreign seller. So this is a China company. China company. So China company doesn't require registration number. So I put NA. Okay, SST NA. Okay, and then this is their address. Zip code is their postcode. Okay, city, state are not applicable. Country will be China. The self-bill type is classified as foreign seller. Okay, foreign seller. And then team type will be company foreign. Okay, and then foreign company doesn't have the team number, so I will use the general team. Okay, which is 30 lah. 30 is company, 20 is individual. Okay, then MSIC code I will put 50 lah, which is not applicable. Okay, not applicable. And then you put the phone number. Email now are optional lah. Okay, then you can set. Okay, set the detail. Okay, then we start do the purchasing. Okay, the purchase you can prove purchase invoice or cash purchase. Let's say now we try to do from purchase invoice. Okay, so we select the supplier. Okay, this is the supplier. Then let's say I bought something. Oh, maybe. Okay, so self bill, it will have the self bill classification code. Okay, this one we already preset under the stock item, so it will become self bill classification code. Okay, your previous version, if you don't have the separate for the item, the classification code, which means it only follow one classification code, which is 0 to 2. Okay, so if you are using old version, yours should be still under 0 to 2. Okay, but if you are using the new version, because the self-bill classification has their own category already, so here automatic it will assign as self-bill. Okay, then you click on set. Okay, provided you have the reference, the supplier reference here. Okay, and also if you have the K1, K1 reference you keep on here, keep on this field, okay? Custom reference number. For my understanding, you only need to key this one, the rest you can just ignore, okay? So how does the actual K1 form look like? I also don't know, okay? Don't ask me first, until I see it, okay? For those you know how K1's reference, you just key in here, okay? Then save, and then do submit, okay? Make sure everything is correct. Okay, your supplier detail, everything is correct. Then come to e-invoice here, do submit. Okay, click on confirm to submit the self bill. Okay, okay, so the self bills are already valid. Okay, so you can print out. So you can print out the self bill invoice. Okay, self bill invoice. This have a QR. Okay, so this is you purchase something, goods. Okay, I think this 036 is not the one, not the one for import lah. I think it's others. Okay, the import. I think it's you should use 034 instead of 036. Okay. Mm, okay. So this is a purchase for self bill, and then back to the check. I don't start e-invoice, but already start. I haven't start e-invoice, but I already start e-invoice. This situation, I need to do some bill or not? No need, right? Because you are not yet start. Just open. This one maybe under association one still consider is company. I already start, but the shop haven't. If you already start, but your supplier not yet start, that one is normal invoice. Just you didn't do the no submission, no self bill. Okay, unless it's individual, then you need to self bill. If company, no matter they are not yet start or they are exempted from e-invoice, that one you key in as normal only lah. But it's better you can ask them to prove the no. This one we don't have things to control for this kind of supplier. Okay, temporarily we don't have method to control this kind of supplier which is not yet start or no need to issue invoice. Okay, maybe they are below the requirement. Okay, about the issue of the purchase invoice for expenses. Expenses later on I will show you on payment voucher lah. Okay, cash purchase is the one to replace by the payment voucher lah. Okay, if supplier give us e-invoice purchase classification, we put 06. If under others category, then you put 036. Okay, as you can see, the self bill category, the item category. Under the self bill, you only have few types only. Okay, majority is others lah, other than your import goods. Okay, or service. Okay, the rest majority is under 036. Okay, self bill e invoice to seller logistic, maybe is this one. Okay, e-commerce, maybe the Grab lah or Shopee lah, Lazada one, which is under this one. Self bill reject. Okay, let's just for self bill. After submit, you want to reject. I think usually you are issue the purchase return. No? Okay, purchase return. Let's say just now the one, the supplier. So you can refer to the invoice today. Okay, and then CA is corrected by your owner. The reason will be wrong item, example. Okay, so you return the color example. Okay, then you can knock off. You can knock off the bill, and then you do the submit. Okay. So if you want to reject, maybe there's another way. Let's say within 72 hours. Let's say within 72 hours, you try. Are you able to do the cancel? Yeah, you can do the cancel here. If after 72 hours, then you do the CN. If within the 72 hours, you can use cancel. Wrong item delivered. Okay. So immediate it will send out. Okay. Oh, this one not off. You just ignore. Okay, so it returns you is cancelled already. So the self bill already cancelled. Okay. So after cancel, there will not no more double entry here. Okay, no more double entry. Okay. So test invoice from local company who has e-invoice. Okay, usually you receive an e-invoice, you just key in as usual. Okay, as usual, like example, this is a local company. Okay, this is a local company with their details already here. So you just key in as usual, whatever item you purchase. Okay, whatever item you purchase. Okay, provided you also enter the invoice number lah. Okay. And then you just save the invoice. Okay. So for the unique identifier number, you need to find a way to copy and paste. Okay. To place here. Okay. Because I don't have the actual e-invoice, I cannot show to you. Okay. As long as you put the correct unique identifier number, you click on this, retrieve info. Okay. because I don't have it, it will give me the error. Okay, actually, it will return you the valid here if your unique identifier number are correct, are tally with the LSTN. When you click this retrieve info, it will become valid. Okay, pay attention. When purchase invoice, even that is valid, you cannot do amendment already for the your item entry. This one also like your sales. When you submit your invoice, you cannot do amendment. Okay, for purchase also, when you verify with your unique identifier number, okay, you also cannot do changes for the purchase detail. Okay, so this one, please take note. System will trigger if invoice already more than same. Yeah, when you do the cancel, it will reject you with the message. It's over 72 hours. Okay. Why the code 036 is incorrect? Because it's a bill. Depends on your item. If your item is imported goods, then it will be 034. If other than that, majority will be 036. If the supplier haven't start e-invoice, but we already start. Yeah, key in normal only. Okay. No need to do self bill unless it's individual. Yeah, your clarification is correct. Elise Kong. Can we submit purchase return for supplier who haven't start? Purchase return can haven't start. Just submit. Yeah, usually it's can. No issue. Because you have their PIN, you have their register number, we can submit. Just maybe LSTN there, they don't have they cannot capture their sales lah. If supplier purchase invoice of their invoice don't have supplier purchase invoice of their invoice don't have unique identifier number. Yes, you can key in without the unique identifier number. Okay, no issue. How to send directly to customer from QnE. You can through email or you can through WhatsApp. Uh, don't depends on LSDN. The LSDN won't send your invoice to your customer one. Don't expect they will do this for you. If if the stock we purchase from local, also from foreign, do we need to manually change the code we key in? Yeah, depend on the purchase invoice. Yeah, the slideshow. Yeah, after the session, you may request from our office lah. Our company provide the service. Okay, this one question very long. All right. I still need to go through the topics. Okay, maybe I would like our colleague to help for answer. Okay. All right. This is the now I want to explain the self bill by using payment voucher. Okay. So payment voucher usually, okay, we can key in the supplier detail under the GL, general ledger, payment receipt info. Okay. So under payment receipt info, you can click on new and then you can key in their info accordingly. Okay. their phone number, their self-bill type. Okay. If not the self-bill supplier, you just at least you fill the PIN type lah. Okay. Without the rest of the details. Okay, like you're paying for petrol. Okay, because petrol, the gas station already give you e-invoice, right? So this one you no need to do self-bill. So that kind of supplier, you can key the petrol station and then you just put the tin type is company Malaysia, that's enough. Okay, or even though it's a government, you pay payment to government, also you just put the government name and then the tin type, because the selection temporarily don't have the government inside, so you just put any tin type as well, because it's not a self bill, it doesn't issue, it don't have an issue because you didn't do the submit for the payment voucher. You only focus on the self bill. Okay, for self bill you need to select the correct one. Okay, if not self bill, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the field you need to fill in. Okay, back to the payment voucher. So when you create a payment voucher, you can click the drop down list lah. So the drop down list, you can select your self bill supplier. Okay, if you are doing self bill, so you select the self bill supplier. So the payment voucher here will bracket the self bill. So you key in the detail accordingly lah. Like, okay, you key in the name. Okay, and then I guess the detail I didn't capture. Okay, provided the detail you already key in, then you click on confirm to submit lah. You can do the submit at under the payment voucher now. Okay. So here will be your expenses lah. Like this one is the rental. Okay. So rental last time we use cash purchase, right? So now you can maintain that to payment voucher. Okay. So you click on submit. Click on confirm. Then it will loading and okay. So it's valid. Okay. So e-invoice tab here, you have the status already under payment voucher. Okay. So it's valid. Then you can print out the payment voucher with the QR. Okay. So the payment voucher with QR will be like this. Okay. Okay. So this one is, so maybe I'll show you one time for payment voucher. So go to GL, go to payment receipt info. So from here, according to my sample, I already key in already this one. So this is the individual profile, okay, which is under self bill. Okay. So the team type don't have government category. So temporarily, maybe in future have, I'm not sure. But temporarily, you only can select company Malaysia as at least lah. Okay. But this one is under individual. I'll put individual. So this one will be their IG, the team number. You can search from here also. Okay, you can search team. Okay. So don't need to afraid that your supplier don't have a PIN number. Okay. Then key in the font here, and then the address detail according to IC lah. Then you click on save. Okay. So after you set the detail, in future when you issue payment voucher, you can select the supplier. Okay. Then you go to supplier tab. the detail will appear. Okay, so this one, let's say I'll put rental, then I key the amount. Okay, then I click save. Okay, then you click submit. Okay, before submit, you see there the e-invoice is pending up. So you click on submit, confirm. Okay, you can see that classification I didn't select, which means it's this one. Okay, this one you need to fill, self-fill others. Okay, then you set again, then click on submit. So now it's sending out. It's valid. Okay, so now you can preview as payment voucher with QR. Okay, payment voucher with QR. Wait, okay, so this is the payment voucher with QR. Okay, okay, so this is a self-bill by using payment voucher. Okay, so what with for those at e-invoice, that one you can key as usual, like let's say a petrol station, you can key the petrol. Okay, let's say I key the petrol, then I pay by by cash now. Let's say I pay by cash 100. Okay, so this one no need self bill. You can save. Okay, because your supplier here, you don't have the detail. You also can save because it's the self bill type is none. Okay, no matter the PIN type, whichever you select, regardless lah. Okay, but if you are first time using this payment voucher after you upgrade, this field first time you need to select lah. Else it will say, it will prompt the error that say the PIN type cannot be empty. Okay, so after the first transaction, this one will keep uh assign already. Okay, automatic assign after the first transaction. Okay, so this is the self bill for payment voucher. Okay, so just go forward. How to retrieve the supplier unique identify number? Okay, this one just now I got explained already lah. Just now got someone asking me this. You can study from the slide here lah, because we already give you the link. Okay. Okay, when you key in the purchase invoice, provided that the supplier detail or the information you have correct one. Okay, register number and the PIN number. And then your purchase invoice, the invoice reference has to be correct. Okay. So when you after you key the purchase invoice, you go to e-invoice here. Okay, you paste the unique identifier number and click. Okay, and click the search button. Okay, it will appear this success. Then you click OK. It will become valid. Okay, it will become valid. Okay, so after valid, you cannot change the detail already, which means you agree that the things are correct already. Okay. So before you paste this unique identifier number, make sure everything's are correct. Okay. All right. Okay. So now who are using point of sale? So please pay attention for this following topics. So point of sale during the POS system, the POS screen, usually you can refer the slide here. Okay. Okay, the slide here is the okay. This is the POS screen. Okay. Okay. After you scan your item, you scan your item. So here will if the customer request for e-invoice, you can see there's a tick here, request submit e-invoice. Okay, you tick there, this the checkbox, then it will show you the customer detail. So you fill in everything, then you do the submit. Okay, this is the request upon the sales lah. Okay, so request after the sales, which means that maybe first time they purchase, they didn't request. So you didn't take this request for e-invoice. So which means that you are submitting as a general public. Okay. You are set as a general public, but you didn't submit. Okay. You didn't submit at the time that suddenly the customer come back say, I want to change this to e-invoice, which means they want to submit. That one is considered as after sales lah. After sales, you want to request for e-invoice, then you have to click this button. Request e-invoice. Okay. So during the sales, before you do the payment, you can click the request from here. Okay. So this is the screen that showing you request for e-invoice. After you key in the detail, you make the payment. So it will prompt this e-invoice submission success. Okay, immediate because you have picked the option here, request e-invoice. So immediate after you key the detail, then you press the payment and then confirm. After the confirm, then it will straight away submit the e-invoice. Okay. You submit the e-invoice, then you just print out the receipt with the QR. Okay. So this one is after the sales, which means the first time they purchased, they didn't request for e-invoice. After that, they come back, they say, for this cash bill number, I want it to be e-invoice. So you click on this button, you look back their reference, okay? Look back their reference, then you show this. This is the bill number. This is the item they purchased. Okay, confirm it's this one, then you key their name. Okay, and then you click the submit e-invoice. After submit, you can print the receipt again to become the e-invoice receipt. Okay. So this is the case that invalid lah. Invalid maybe is something didn't complete. Okay. So here you have the status submitted. Then you have the UUID. Okay. So it's submitted status. This is submitted status. So if the let's say the LSTN server is slow, so you are delayed to be valid, you can validate from here also, update from here. Okay. Until it become valid, then you print out the receipt. Okay. Okay, to void transaction, previously because no e-invoice, you don't have the issue. Now you have the e-invoice, and after submit, you need to void the receipt, which means it's cancel. Okay, cancel bill. So you click on the void past bill, you select the receipt, provided the receipt is a valid one. You select the bill and click OK. Okay, then it will become submitted. Then cancellation for the transaction, or this is after the 72 hours. Okay. If cannot cancel, is they will reply you that it's not allowed. Submitted is considered that as not LSTN yet to be finalized. Okay. So this is about the point of sales. Okay, maybe I do because it's 3:30 already. Uh, okay, maybe I just go through one time for the point of sale. Okay, so point of sale, basically you have a customer. Okay, basically we create a customer called walk-in customer or cash customer lah. Let's say I have a cash sale customer. Cash sale customer, I put the team type as general public. Okay, general public, and then this is the general team lah. Then other details remain not applicable because we no need e-invoice. Okay, no need e-invoice. Then when doing the post, when we log in the point of sale, okay, we log in the walk-in customer. Okay, we log in the walk-in customer with the password key in. So this is the point of sale. So you start do your merchandise. Okay, let's say this item. Okay, let's say just sell anything lah. Okay, just sell anything. Okay, 100. Let's say this customer say one their request for e-invoice. Then you just take the request e-invoice. Then you start key the detail manually, or you can select if they are your existing customer. You can select the info here. So you immediate you press the info here. Okay. Else you need to key manually. Maybe they are one-time customer. You can key manually. Okay. Key manually. Then you press F9 because this one is a general public. We cannot do submit like that. If this one will be not allowed. This one you need to untick the request submit e-invoice. Okay. But for those have detail like Bali, okay. Okay, like this one you have detail already, so you can do payment. Okay, let's say I do a cash payment, confirm. So immediate they submit the e-invoice. Okay. So I will print out the receipt. Okay. Sorry, I set up the printer. Okay, let's say I want to reprint the receipt. Don't have. Okay, maybe I show you the because I didn't link to the printer. The sample of the receipt will be like this with the QR code. Okay. This is the sample of the receipt. Okay. And then what if the customer first time they purchase as normal? Okay, they purchase as normal. We without request the e-invoice. Okay, this one I put unit price 100. Okay, F9. Okay, this one the receipt is 2507005. Okay, without request the e-invoice, and we make the payment to the sales. Okay, this one already settled, but suddenly the customer come back say they request for e-invoice. So this time you need to click from here. Click from here, then you search from the previous receipt. Okay, search from the previous receipt, then you key the detail, then click submit. Okay, so this is the request e-invoice after the transaction. Okay, so during the transaction is this, after the transaction is this. Okay, remember. Okay, so if void the receipt will be, okay, click on the void past bill. So this is submitted, or submitted means not yet valid. So this one you cannot do the cancel. Okay. Make sure this one become valid first. Okay. So sometimes I delay to become valid. So maybe we can refresh the status. Okay. Okay. Now it become valid already. See that? It's valid at the LSTN side, but here is status is submitted. You click on pause update, it will update the status here. Okay. So now it's valid already, so that you can preview the receipt. Okay. So this is the sample of my receipt. It's with QR. Okay. So this is the one now I want to do the cancel. So make sure it's valid first. If you want to cancel an e-invoice, okay, make sure it's valid first. Now we do the cancel. So make sure it's valid, then you do the void. So you key the reason, then you submit immediate. Okay. So cancellation is success, which means it's already cancelled. When you reprint the receipt, when you reprint the receipt, you can see that this one is in red color. Red color is the cancel one, cancel. And then when you come back to your cash sales, like this one, I refresh. This one is already void. Okay. So become cancel. Okay. Sometimes here are not update, so you can update from here. Okay. So this is the point of sale. Okay, come to the last one is the consolidated. Okay. Okay, so this is the pause. The last one is consolidated. Okay, so consolidated e-invoice. So consolidated e-invoice is every new month, the 7th day. Okay, first 7 day you need to do the consolidated e-invoice. Okay, we have the consolidated sales. Okay, but before we do consolidated sales, you can go to the E-invoice power source. E-invoice power source, you can go through, let's say in July. So for those invoice which are yet submit, you can see here. So make sure those deal with company, make sure this you submit first before you do the consolidated. Okay. So these three are not supposed to category under consolidated lah. So make sure these two I need to go to the document to do the submit lah. Else, if you list, you see this one finally, if you generate consolidated sales. So here it will ask you, let's say I want to submit on August, which means my transaction is in between this range on July. Okay. You only can do submission for consolidated on next month, first 7 day for the July transaction. So July transaction, which document type are involved cash sales, invoice, credit note, and debit note. Okay. Then you start with the generate. So for the July consolidated, you will generate a document. So you open the document, you can see that you have the file invoice inside the console, which means these two, if you didn't submit individually, it will bring forward to consolidated sales, which means that if you click on submit, which means these two invoice also under console sales. If one day file come back to ask for e-invoice, sorry, cannot already. Okay. So either you can remove these three from the list, okay, or these two from the list, I can delete, remove from the list. This one, I have no details. Okay, assume that this one consider general public already. Okay, so this one also I can do the submit. Okay. Okay, remember to save first. Okay, then you do the submit e-invoice. Okay, so this is the general public. Okay, so this is the total amount, 442 and 26 cents. Okay, to confirm, click confirm, then it starts submit. So this document are submitted as consolidated. Okay, so how do a consolidated invoice look like? You can, okay, we go to e-invoice here. The status is valid already. So you can preview the consolidated sales. So this is the consolidated e-invoice. Okay. So this is the invoice number. So this one is the one under run range 001 to 003. Okay. The classification automatic, it will become 004. What is 004? 004 is consolidated e-invoice. Okay. By default, our reference is 022, right? But when come to consolidated sales automatic, it will change to 004. Okay, so this is the QR. Okay, so this reference and the unique identifier number will appear at the each bill consolidated status here. Okay, it's no longer appear here, but it will appear here. Okay, so you have two status actually for each document. Okay, one is consolidated and one is e-invoice status. Okay, either one is valid, is considered valid already. Okay, so this document number will refer to separate cash bill. Okay, they are shared under one consolidated document number and UUID. Okay. So this is consolidated e-invoice. Okay. So this is all I want to share with you by today. So we back to the Q&A. Okay, back to Q&A now. If customer e-invoice implement that is not applicable or generally, do we include it into console? Because it's by your side, it's not, if you're dealing with sales, right? It's by your side. If you issue is an e-invoice, no matter your customer start already or not, but for your side is you are starting e-invoice unless your customer don't want give you their info, then you just use consolidated. That one is okay. Okay, it's okay. First thing you need to consider. Okay, one thing is you already start e-invoice. Okay, second thing is your customer willing to give you info or not. Okay, if they willing to give info, then you issue an e-invoice. That's normal, right? Then what if your customer not willing to give info? Then we only can do is we do consolidated. Okay. And just return claim for rental promotion. Rental claim for this one. This one you need to communicate with your suppliers, or because your supplier rent, maybe from my understanding is your supplier rent the rack for display the products from you. Maybe you are as a supermarket or something. Okay. So this one maybe is you going to bill your supplier, right? This one the e-invoice is issued by you or your supplier. They can issue CN also. So this one you need to communicate with your supplier. Either is you issue e-invoice or they issue CN. Okay. If electricity bill or water bill that we paid for is not under company name, we cannot change the name. What should we do? Okay, for my understanding, for Sesco bill, you can apply through Sesco apps. Okay, Sesco apps there you can request for invoice, but you need to provide them the Form C. I think you need to upload the Form C through the apps, and then you need to tell them the account number you want it to bill to which name, your company name. Okay. Water bill, I think you need to log in as the water board lah. Because water board system I never study before. But Sesco apps I able see the request e-invoice function lah. For general public customer, no need lah, no need to key in. Because this one general public you cannot submit e-invoice. Okay. When preview sale invoice, this icon email, may I know how to use? You can email your preview document to your customer, provided you have Outlook, Microsoft Outlook. Then you can integrate the email to the Outlook, and then you can email to your customers. Can we search MSIC code in QnE? Yes, right. But the problem is we don't know what MSIC code is your customer belongs. Okay. They have the list there, but it's the general list, not the one default to your customer. Okay. And consolidate
那底下的还没有。
啊。If we open claim first from our customer, if one company have to usually only have one MSIC for each payment. If you want to make payment according MSIC, then you have to separate different payment. If we open claim, is it okay? What claim we mean? Expenses claim. If expenses claim, I think at least you get the bill, right? Get the bill first. The bill has to be e-invoice lah. Then you can make a claim. But the claim from customer, I think what's the mean from customer claim? Yes. We didn't scan the receipt like buying shop on company. Okay, for QnE, we don't have the open QR for customer to scan and key in unless you subscribe for the cloud hosting, then you can request customer info. Okay. For the offline database, we don't have this function. Okay. How about medical claim by our worker food bill? Medical claim, the clinic has to be issue the e-invoice to the worker's name lah. Then according to the company, what we call that the employee policy, which means that you can prove that the staff, the person who claimed the medical is your worker lah. Then you just key the UUID lah. Or you can ask the clinic to straight away issue e-invoice to your company also can. Even food bill also the same way. Maybe their POS system can generate the QR. You scan the QR and then you fill in your company detail. Then you declare the e-invoice as your company expenses. Rental claim for gondola. What is gondola? What's gondola? Wait. What is that? Oh, the red. Rental claim. Usually, you claim the rental from your customer, which means Your supply, your customer is the E invoice issued by you. Either is your customer bill you the rental or you issue CN to your customer. Only two ways to do it. Right? You want to control the outstanding. This one you need to communicate with your customer lah. Okay, it's either you bill them the CN or they charge back to you the rental. 公司买文具，对方没有 E invoice。公司买文具，对方没有 E invoice，我是不是拿 normal receipt？啊、表面上是这样子做啦，可是他为什么不能开 E invoice？最好他有一个 proof 哦，比如说他没有到达那个 requirement 啊，就是说他可能少过500千啊，还是什么咯。About the staff use petty cash to book Grab. This one you need to check the Grab apps can issue e-invoice or not. This one I have not yet studied regarding the Grab. Mm, Grab cannot issue e-invoice. If treat as a staff claim, usually is rely on the employee employment policy. We call it employment policy lah, that one. Which means that as long as the person who claim the expenses are your staff, you only can prove on that way only. Do we need to scan every single receipt for petrol fee? This one you need to ask the station lah. Maybe they can. Maybe you have an account with them. They can do a monthly billing or something. Maybe they can generate an e-invoice for you for your company. Else, you really need to scan each of the receipt. Okay. And then you need to check if every company, the timeline of claim the e-invoice are different, or maybe some are 1 or 2 days only. Okay. You cannot say on today is 4th of 4th of July, I go to petrol station, I spend 100 petrol. Okay. And then I wait until end of the month, then claim the e-invoice. I think you cannot claim already. Okay. So don't live too long. So every time if your driver go to petrol spending, so the receipt immediate you need to take from them, and then you do the declaration for e-invoice. Okay. So any question I miss up? If I miss up, maybe you can key again at the chat box there. If supplier bill key in UID already valid, will the payment voucher show the e-invoice status be applicable? Payment voucher show the e-invoice status. I think under bill entry don't have the status on the bill entry because they don't have the e-invoice tag here, only the unique identifier number. Okay, you only can trace its success or not. Okay, you cannot have the status to view is valid or not. Okay, any more question? Okay, I think today's sharing up to here. If no question, then we end today's meeting. Okay. Any question you may ask me or my colleague or our office. Okay. Thanks for joining.